In the heart of the 17th century Mughal Empire, a conspiracy was unfolding. Not in dark alleys, but in the royal bedroom. The emperor of the world's richest empire was slowly handing over absolute power. Not to his sons, not to his generals, but to his 20th wife. Her name was Nur Jahan, light of the world, and she was about to become the only woman in 3,000 years of Indian history to issue imperial decrees, command armies, and have coins minted in her name while her husband was still alive. This isn't a love story. This is a masterclass in political takeover. Our story begins not with glory, but with disgrace. Born as Mehr-un-Nissa in 1577 to Persian nobles who'd fled to India, she was married off to a Persian adventurer. By 34, she was a widow with a daughter, living in the imperial harem, the last place anyone would look for an empress. Now meet her mark, Emperor Jahangir, the son of the great Akbar, but carrying none of his father's discipline. Addicted to opium and wine, prone to violent mood swings, and easily manipulated. The perfect mark for an ambitious woman. The official story says Jahangir fell in love at first sight at a royal bazaar. The unofficial truth? This was a carefully orchestrated encounter. Within months, the widow became the 20th wife, but she didn't want to be a wife. She wanted to be the power behind the throne. Nur Jahan didn't just marry the emperor. She built a political machine so tight, historians would call it the Junta. Her father became prime minister, her brother Asif Khan became Lord Chancellor, her stepson Prince Khurram married her niece Mumtaz Mahal. She controlled every lever of power. Now watch the takeover in real time. First, she gets Jahangir to sign a decree. All imperial documents must pass through her before reaching the emperor. Then, she starts issuing royal decrees in her own name, something unprecedented. Finally, she gets coins minted bearing her name beside his. This wasn't gradual influence, this was a corporate takeover of an empire. But Nur Jahan understood something modern leaders forget. Real power needs symbols. So she staged the ultimate power move, the tiger hunt. While court poets wrote of Jahangir's hunting prowess, it was Nur Jahan who actually killed tigers. 4 of them, with a single shot each, and she made sure everyone knew. Here was a woman who could master the most dangerous beast in the empire. The message was clear. If she can control this, she can control your fate. She didn't stop there. She became the empire's trendsetter, designing new clothing styles that swept the court, creating perfumes, writing poetry under the pen name Makfi, the Hidden One. She was building a cult of personality. The empire didn't just obey her, it wanted to be her. The true test came in 1626, when a rebellious general, Mahabat Khan, kidnapped Emperor Jahangir. The entire empire held its breath. This was where the puppet master would fall, right? Wrong. Nur Jahan didn't panic. She executed a military operation so brilliant, it stunned the empire's best generals. She organized loyal troops, negotiated with allies, and personally led the rescue mission. When she freed Jahangir, she wasn't just his wife anymore, she was his savior. And saviors don't ask for power, they take it. For the next 2 years, as Jahangir's health failed, Nur Jahan ruled completely. Foreign ambassadors reported back to Europe, the emperor does nothing without her consent. She was negotiating trade deals with the British East India Company, receiving foreign dignitaries, and deciding matters of war and peace. The Mughal Empire had, for all practical purposes, its first empress. But every empire has a succession crisis, and here's where Nur Jahan made her fatal mistake. When Jahangir was dying, she backed her son-in-law, Prince Shahryar, for the throne. Her own brother, Asif Khan, backed another prince, Khurram, who would become Shah Jahan. The family that ruled together shattered. In the brutal civil war that followed, Nur Jahan's candidate lost. Shahryar was executed, and the new emperor, Shah Jahan, the very man she helped raise, ordered her into house arrest. At 53, the woman who ruled an empire was confined to a mansion in Lahore, but even in defeat, she left her mark. She built the stunning tomb of Itmad-ud-Dawla for her parents, the architectural precursor to the Taj Mahal. She lived another 18 years writing poetry and watching the empire she built thrive without her. So who was Nur Jahan really? A manipulative schemer who seduced her way to power? Or a political genius centuries ahead of her time, playing the only cards available to a woman in the 17th century? Perhaps her own words reveal the truth. When asked about her unprecedented power, she reportedly said, "I have made the king's heart the receptacle of my love. The whole world is under my command." This is the uncomfortable truth about Nur Jahan. She proved that in an age where women were meant to be invisible, absolute power could be taken from the inside. Not with armies, but with intelligence. Not with force, but with strategy. So here's my question to you. Was Nur Jahan a heroic feminist icon who broke the system? Or a brilliant but ruthless opportunist who exploited a weak man? Let's have that debate in the comments. If you learned something today, do me a favor. Share this video with someone who needs to know that sometimes the most powerful person in the room isn't on the throne. Sometimes they're the one who put them there. I'll see you in the next video. Follow our channel Untold for more stories and stay connected. Thank you.